Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're reviewing a 2014 Ford Mustang GT of the S197 generation. 2014 is the last model year, and a lot of Mustang enthusiasts consider this both the most raw and fun to drive Mustang, while also recognizing that it's so technologically inferior to its successor, the S550. This S197 is the last generation to have a live rear axle. That's right, no independent rear suspension. I'm very familiar with the S550 and S650 chassis, and I've reviewed numerous examples on this road, from the EcoBoost to the GT, to the GT350, the Mach 1, and all of those are such confidence-inspiring pony cars given their size and weight. But when you go back to the live rear axle equipped S197 GT, does that change? The owner RZ has modified this for the track. He mentioned he bought this from his brother in pristine condition. But let's talk about some of the basics here. This has the 5-liter naturally aspirated dual overhead cam V8, nicknamed Coyote. It makes 420 horsepower, 390 pound-feet of torque. 6-speed manual transmission. The car weighs a little over 3,600 pounds. Strut front suspension and a 3-link rear suspension with that live rear axle. This car was also optioned with the track pack, which includes a Torsen diff, 3.73 final drive, an oil cooler, and these pretty excellent Recaro seats. In terms of mods, RZ has thrown on some Apex EC7 wheels. They're 19x11 all around with two 85/35/19 Cup 2s. He does track this car, and he mentioned that he had to dial in a lot of front camber with these Vorshlag camber plates to minimize understeer. So we're at -3 degrees up front. We also have some aftermarket Bilstein shocks, Ford Performance springs, which lower the car about 1 inch, Ford Performance sway bars, and a bunch of other chassis stiffening and supporting suspension mods. This also comes with the 14-inch front Brembo brakes. We've got a Borla S-Type catback exhaust. First impressions of the interior, it's pretty basic in here. It's significantly less refined in terms of the choice of materials and build quality compared to the S550, but I actually kind of like the retro look. Simple 3-spoke steering wheel, although the diameter is absolutely massive. We've got the big 5.0 badge on the dash. Cheap plastics everywhere, but you know what? Analog gauges, simple, easy to read, physical controls for everything. I far prefer this to the latest S650 generation with its laggy touchscreen infotainment. But with that out of the way, let's drive this track pack equipped, lightly modified S197 GT and see how it compares to some of the newer Mustangs I've driven. At my height, I'm 5'7". I actually have to push the seat forward quite a bit in order to reach the pedals because the clutch, the bottom position is pretty far away. Oh, wow, 420 horsepower is no joke. Response, at least on the initial press of the gas pedal, feels slightly dull, but then once you get into it, you get to enjoy the progressive nature of this naturally aspirated V8. Oh, there's that live rear axle. The thing just skips over the bumps, and when you try to put the power down, it just has this kind of awkward feeling like it's floating around back there. Nice short gearing though with the 3.73 final drive. Oh wow, this is not an easy car to drive quickly. The way this rear axle moves around under power while cornering, I'm not used to this, as you can tell. The shifter's not bad. It's a Getrag unit. Nice meaty shifter feel. It requires some effort, but it's not overly heavy. line performance is still very relevant. It doesn't feel that much slower than an S550 or S650 GT. The red line's not that high, around 6,800 RPM, but it does have really linear power delivery. You can rev this to over 6,000 and not really feel much power drop off. Good brake feel, a little soft on the initial bite, but easy to modulate. The suspension though, very soft. Bilstein dampers, the car just moves around. Wow, what was that? Car literally just like scooted over an inch or two. I wasn't even on the throttle at all, just coasting through that corner. Wow, I'm a little sketched out. Is that just a live axle thing? Or is it this particular car? I'm not sure. Steering is very light, a bit vague, and not much feedback. Not a confidence-inspiring car in the canyons. You can hear it going over bumps. The live axle just skips, and there, it did it again. It stepped out even though I was just coasting through the corner. Maybe it's the advanced traction control system that's acting funny. I'm not sure. But it's very off-putting when you're just coasting and the car sends you sideways. That really should never happen. We're gonna have to take it a bit easy here because I just do not trust the rear end of this car. Oh, there it is again. I feel like it's the traction control system. Let me try just turning it off and see if that goes away. Seems okay now. Oh, wow. You have to be very smooth with your inputs. Otherwise, you can upset the balance of the car very easily. Driving so timidly here. Whoa, wow, okay. This is not easy to drive. That live rear axle really demands your full attention. Compared to the S550 GT and S650 GT, this does feel more raw, I'll give it that, although the steering feel is still a significant weakness of this car, as it is in the later generations. But it's raw in the sense that it keeps you on your A game because you're never quite sure what that rear axle is going to do in response to your inputs. Your steering input, your throttle input, even your brake input will affect the weight transfer and potentially send the car sideways. The straight line performance of this car is impressive, and the engine sounds glorious with this Borla catback exhaust. I wouldn't touch the engine. Given that the track pack already has the oil cooler, it should be good on track. It's that rear suspension that is making me nervous here. I wonder if there's a way in the aftermarket to really calm down that rear end. But as it stands, wow, not an easy car to push hard. I think on a smooth racetrack, this would be a lot easier to drive. On a bumpy, tight, and technical canyon road, well, it just doesn't suit this car's strengths and weaknesses. Not much room to wind the engine out, and in the corners, over the bumps, the level of instability is pretty off-putting. I would love to try this car on track someday, maybe at like a Laguna Seca type track, very smooth, straightforward straights and corners. But let me know your thoughts about the S197 Mustang GT down in the comments. A big thank you to RZ. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.